Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. This is Dr. Rick Wallace once again stopping by. This is Tuesday, and normally it is the day of the week that we do our morning motivational moment. But with everything that's been going over and on over the past week, we've been kind of talking to one another and dealing with one another on a regular basis. So this is just another day that we're going to talk about some things. But what I want you to do real quickly is get yourself together to follow the link on the on this video. Become a Power Team member. Once you go to the link, you'll see on the page what the Power Team is about. It is an opportunity to work directly with me on a daily basis in a closed group that's protected and guarded from negative mindsets, negative activities. And it consists of engaging one another on a daily basis within this group on Facebook, closed group, private group, dealing with everything from development of self-concept, self-confidence, self-worth, all the way through to development of goals and value systems, how we're going to develop plans and programs of pursuing our particular goals. I'm sharing with you my next goal, something that I shared with everybody, I believe on yesterday or day before yesterday, but I probably won't talk about again a lot in open because I don't believe in consistently casting my pearls before swine and what is holy before the dogs. And what I mean by that is not everybody is meant to hear your dream. Not everybody is meant to have access to your dream, because there are some dream killers out there. Some people that will literally make it their business to try to sabotage your goals and your dreams. And while nobody can actually do that, if you're really sold out to it, they can make it more difficult. But I did share it because I wanted everybody to know about it. I have a way of doing that. I'm one of those people that, because I've been doing this for a while, I've been driving myself and pushing myself for a while, I have developed the capacity to literally convert negative energy of what y'all guys probably call haters. I call them dream killers. I've literally trained myself to convert that negative energy to positive energy. As a matter of fact, one of the most powerful and driving forces or motivating forces in my life is to shut my dream killers and my haters down, to let them wish and hope and pray and work and do everything they can to see me fail, to get all excited about something I may be going through that they think got me beat, and to watch me overcome it. I'm driven by people who tell me I can't. I'm driven by people who tell me I'm not realistic. I'm driven by that. So I'll give them a little access to it, but I don't keep repeating it in front of them, because that giving them a bite and motivating them to be more motivated about what they're doing on a negative sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my vision about what I'm going to do in 2017 and what I'm doing with my business, the Visionetics 2020 program, what I'm doing with that particular program. Anyone knows me, I got a number of things going. I got Master Fitness 21, Myriad Business Solutions, Odyssey Media Group, Odyssey Publishing. So I got a lot of things going on, a lot of irons on the fire. That's just the way I operate. I'm highly diverse in the way I generate and create my revenue. I have to be that way. It guards me against any type of massive interruption that can't be overcome within a certain period of time. Anyway, my focus now is this Visionetics thing, and we'll talk about that. That's going to be something. I'm going to let you develop and understand what your dreams are, what you're aspiring to do, how you're going to do it, and then we're going to build our dreams, go after our dreams, our visions that we have in front of us that we are focused on right now. We're going to go after them together. We're going to go, obviously, we're all starting from different areas in our life, different perspectives, different mindsets, but I'm going to show you how no matter where you're at, you can get it. This is an opportunity for those people who may not be able to afford to work with me one-on-one directly. Sit down and have a plan developed for you that's specifically designed to accommodate your goals based on where you're at, your gifts, your particular mentality and all of that. Those people, you may not be able to do that now, but you can definitely take advantage of this. Yes, it does call for an investment. The initial investment I offered to the people who took part and invested themselves in the 3-day boot camp last week, and then I extended it for a couple of days, was $20. It's no longer $20, it's $50 now. But for $50, you're going to get daily access to me for the next year. This is a year membership. For the next year, daily access to me, where we're going to grind Monday through Friday and many times on Saturdays. I grind 7 days a week. I don't take a day off. I literally work 7 days a week because that's how I'm built, and that's where I'm going. I have so many days in my life that are numbered for me, and giving one away. Now, I don't do the same thing. And when I need to rest, I'm teaching myself how to take the time to rest, because that's still maximizing my time, because it's giving me the energy I need to work. Well, anyway, I want you to take the time to click that link, go there. It's a small price to pay. Invest yourself. What I can tell you is, if you invest yourself in the first 6 weeks, you will produce 10 times what you've invested in the knowledge you gain and how you apply that knowledge to your life. If you're seriously committed. What I tell people all the time, when they come pay me the money, a lot more than what I'm asking in this membership, when they come pay me, I don't have any guarantees, because what's going to happen is going to depend on you. If you're committed, if you're sold out, if there's nothing that's going to stop you from going and getting this, you're going to get it. That's it. I can't give you a date and time you're going to get it, because life has a tendency to throw things at you that you cannot possibly anticipate, and that's going to cause some delay. Delay is a part of the equation. It does not mean denial, but it definitely is a part of the process. And so that's the same thing here. If you invest in yourself, if you truly sell out to what I'm talking about, what I'm sharing with you, the things that I have put into practice myself, the things that people that are extremely successful in life have put into practice each and every day, things that I've studied, I've watched, I've experienced with my life, I guarantee you your life will change. Give me 6 months of your life and I guarantee your life will never be the same. This is something I'm telling you. You've got to be at a point in your life, though, when you decide to do this, that you're tired. You're tired of where you're at. You're tired of what you've been getting. You're tired of living like you've been living. You're tired of being mediocre. You're tired of watching other people succeed and you sit there. You're tired of feeding and investing yourself into someone else's dreams. If you're tired. Now, I'm going to talk to you today. What I came to talk to you about actually wasn't this. What I came to talk to you about was the need to interrupt your story. What I mean by that is, we are who we are by what we're exposed to. We develop a mindset, our thought processes, by what we become exposed to. What you're exposed to develops a paradigm that which is like a lens through which you see things, and what you base your decisions on, and how you interpret things is based on this exposure. You've been exposed to some negative things. Your experiences have been writing your story. And what I intend to do is interrupt your story. I'm intending to interrupt your story. And it's important that you interrupt your story. How I began my process of doing what I do is by interrupting my story. Now, luckily, my story was, although I come from a situation where I didn't know my father, a 15-year-old mother, reared by my great-grandparents in an inner-city community, my story still wasn't bad, because early on, my grandmother implanted this seed inside of me that said anything was possible. But I still had all these things that other people were using as excuses to fail. And I had to overcome that. I had to change that story. Well, how you change your story is by what you expose yourself to. You've got to expose yourself to something different. You've got to take time to interrupt your story. This is what I'm going to tell you. Every morning when I get up, the first thing I do is recite my goal. What are my goals for the next 90 days, for the next year, for the next 5 years, and for the next 10 years? I recite them every day when I wake up in the morning, every night before I go to bed. And then I sit down and I meditate on the ideas of who I am, what I am, where I'm going, what I will become. Those are the things I put inside my head before I start my day. I set the mindset of how I engage my day by getting up, reading my goals. My goals remind me of my why, my purpose. It reminds me of who I am. It reminds me of what I'm going after. I wake up grinding on GP. Those goals give me direction and path and set the course of my day. But at the same time, how did I change or interrupt my story? Well, see, the thing is, your story is being told to you by your experiences. It's also being told to you by the stimuli in knowledge and information that you're being bombarded with. If you're growing up in the inner city, you see nothing but negative images, impressions of people from the inner city. If you grew up in poverty, if you grew up without a father, you've seen all the statistics that tell you that you're likely to fail, that you may go to prison, that you'll end up in a minimum or medium paying job, that you'll never ever really truly exceed. There's this sense of lack that's being pushed in the media and propaganda, that there's only so much out there. And what I'm telling you is you got to start believing in abundance. But how do you interrupt it? Every morning after I get up, after I read or recite my goals, after I sit down and meditate, the next thing I do is I sit down with my headset and I either listen to or watch at least 30 minutes of a empowerment, a motivation, or inspirational message from one of my favorites, whether it's Zig Ziglar, whether it's Jim Rohn, whether it's Les Brown, whether it's Eric Thomas, whether it's Tony Robbins. It's somebody that's, number one, speaking about possibility, speaking about empowerment, speaking about elevation, speaking about capacity, speaking about gifts, speaking about process, speaking about what happens when you persevere, when you don't quit, when you don't give up, talking about the fact that something I believe in with all my heart: every person on this planet is born with potential. Every person on this planet is born with a gift. Every person on this planet is born with genius on the inside of them. The problem is most have been convinced not to even attempt to access it. And what I do is, and what I do with people who come to me, some people come to me and they already know I'm going after it. I'm just not sure where to start. They've got these mindsets that's got them blocked. And sometimes all you got to do is remove the block and turn them loose. And then there's those other times people come to me and they literally have what's called low or a marred self-concept, or low self-image, or low self-esteem. You got some people with what I call vacant self-esteem, meaning that it's not even there. You got people with low self-esteem. They esteem themselves. It's just low. They don't believe a lot about themselves, but they realize they're here and they think they can get some. There are some people out there that don't think they have a chance to do anything. But what I'm telling you is I've taken people, and what I do is tell them, hey, for the next 6 months, you've got to expose yourself to nothing but positive information, positive reinforcements. Listen to what other people have accomplished, but more importantly, listen to messages. Write affirmations about yourself every morning. Get up and recite those affirmations. At noontime, recite those affirmations. In the evening time, recite those affirmations. And at the same time, remove yourself from those negative stimulations. Stop watching so much of that junk on TV that gives the reinforcement of an image or impression of who you are and what can be expected of you. Stop listening to the naysayers. Trim your circle down. Get those people out of your periphery who have nothing but negative mindsets and minimal minds. They can't see anything. They have no visions. They have no dreams. They have no ideas of where they're going. They are being guided by the movements and the currents of life instead of learning how to swim and move against the current to create energy and power and elevation. You got to get them out of your life, but you got to feel your life. You got to interrupt the story that's playing right now. See, the story that's playing right now is why you've been trapped where you're at, because the story is being played. You are allowing your experiences and the negative information that's around you to write your narrative, to write your story, to put you out there with a belief that things are impossible. The only things that are impossible are the things you believe to be impossible. This is the reality of the universe. This is a spiritual reality that you can take impossibility completely out of the equation when you raised your level of expectation for yourself and you believe that the level that you have raised your expectation is attainable. When you believe that the expectations that you have for yourself are attainable, you begin to adopt and adapt to your situation, adopting principles that will allow you to raise and elevate your life. What I'm telling you is you'll learn how not to judge your situation, not to judge your life or who you are based on your circumstances. Because what I can tell you, and some of the most successful people in this world have found themselves in some of the darkest of moments and darkest of situations, but they did not define themselves by their circumstance. They defined themselves by who they were, even though it didn't say that in the visible sense. They've learned that they don't deal with life through physical sight. They deal with life through mental and spiritual sight. How they envision their lives turning out, how they spiritually manifest and see things beyond. If you don't have spiritual insight and eyesight, if you don't have mental, intellectual eyesight that allows you to work and operate out of your imagination instead of your past experiences, you are always going to be trapped by the reminders of the past, of your failures, of your poor decision making, of things that didn't go right in your life. But when you start to live your life from a place of your imagination, you are able to interrupt the story that has been written, the story that and the narrative that has been written. And now you start taking the pen into your own hand and you start writing the story of your life your way. That's what I want you to learn how to do. I want you to expose yourself to nothing but positive energy. Find a number of different motivational speakers that you like. Find people who know how to speak powerful and passionately. Find people who are dropping real true principles of how to put what you're thinking into action. When I tell you you need to change your thinking, I don't just tell you you need to change your thinking. I tell you, just like I told you, if you want to change your thinking, expose yourself to something different. Expose yourself to what you want to start thinking. Expose yourself to it at a high enough level that it begins to make an impression on your subconscious. Because what you expose your subconscious to the door can't be closed to your subconscious. That's why you got to be careful of what TV programs you expose yourself to. That's why you got to be careful of who you allow to speak into your life and into your dream. Because while your conscious can shut it down, ignore it, and dismiss it, your subconscious is hearing it. And if whatever your subconscious is exposed to the most, it will accept as reality. You've got to feed your subconscious nothing but positive energy, nothing but expectations of greatness, nothing but the idea that there's nothing impossible that you put your mind to. If you can conceive it in your mind, you can do it. Let me tell you something. I am a firm believer. I don't believe in religion at all, but I believe in God. I believe in a divine creator. I believe in infinite intelligence. I believe in the grand designer of the universe. And I believe that I was designed with a gift and a purpose. And I believe that every other person on this planet was designed with an expectation and a gift of a purpose, with the expectation being held by the grand creator. Now, what I can tell you is if that the grand creator created me, he gave me the capacity to visualize in my mind, to imagine in my mind. That's why children have such great imaginations. Their imaginations have not yet been quenched, and corrupted by people with low expectations. When you get 3 and 4 and 5 and 6-year-olds that haven't yet ran into teachers that consistently telling them to be realistic, and that's not being realistic, that's not possible. Why don't you think about this? Why don't you aspire to this? When they're thinking and dreaming, listen to some of the stuff that kids think and say and profess that they want to be and what they want to do. They don't have limitations. If they see it out there, they know it's been done and they believe they can do it. It's the interruption of those belief systems by negative environments and negative impressions that change their mindset and begin to shape their story and write their narrative. You got to be willing to expose your subconscious to nothing but positiveness. Get the people out of your life that love to whisper the sweet nothings of negativity into your ear, that love to tell you why you can't. I mean, they've become experts at finding out and coming up with reasons why you can't do something. They spend more time determining why you can't do something than they spend determining what's possible for them. They become stuck because they've totally given up on their dreams, and they've made it a purpose to rob every person possible out of their dreams. You've got to get those people out of your periphery. Why? Because that negative energy, even when you're resisting it and pushing it away, becomes an issue if it's more dominant than the positive information you're receiving. You've got to have enough people around you that believe in you. You got to have motivational information in front of you. You got to read something positive in a book, at least 10 to 12 pages of something positive every day. You've got to watch at least 30 minutes or listen to at least 30 minutes of something positive being sown into your psyche. Because what's sown into your psyche, your mind, it will ultimately be sown into your spirit. And once you get something sown into your spirit is the most powerful entity and force in your life. When you have something positive and your expectation sown into your spirit, when you run into a circumstance, you will see the circumstance, acknowledge that the circumstance is actually real, tangible, and touchable, but that will be something in your spirit that you've sown that will actually disagree with the circumstance. In other words, your spirit will overrule the circumstance. It's there, it's real, but it doesn't have the power to stop you. That's how you build. That's how you develop a mindset of overcoming. Stop letting people define you by your moment, by your circumstance, by your current situation, who you are and what you are based on where you're at. That's not who you are. That's where you're at. And if you're like anybody that's truly grinding and pushing and overcoming, where you're at is never where you're going to end up. You are focused on where you're going. You are envisioning where you're going. You're seeing with your spiritual sight, your mental sight, your imagination, your vision where you are going. You are standing up and living in the moment of what you have envisioned for your life. You are not looking at your past failures. You've learned from them and you've cast them aside. You're not looking at the experiences of life where you saw your mother and father struggle to keep food on the table and keep the bills paid. You understand that that wasn't your reality, that showed you that that's not what you want for your life and for your children. And you are deciding that you have the capacity inside to stand up, hold your head up, and push towards something. And you refuse to let your current circumstance be your reality. That's how you change or interrupt your story. You start filling your life with beliefs that anything is possible. You read something every day, 10 to 12 pages every day, something possible, something positive. You listen every day, at least 30 minutes, something positive. Wake up in the morning and the first thing you say or recite are your goals and your expectations. Spend at least 30 minutes in a spiritual state of meditation, imagining and thinking and seeing yourself successful, seeing yourself in a position of power and impact, seeing yourself rising from the current state to a greater state and a greater state until you start to achieve and experience exceptional and phenomenal. That should be what you do every day. I guarantee you, if you do this for 6 months, if you put yourself in that situation for at least 6 months, nothing shall be impossible. Your way of thinking will change. You will change who you are on the inside. And the moment that you change who you are on the inside, you change your course, your path, your direction, and your destiny. You are now walking towards greatness. You are now walking towards phenomenal, and you will get it if you don't quit. Interrupt the story that is playing in your life right now if you're not happy with where you're at. Interrupt that story and replace it with a better one. You have the right to do that. That's something you have the capacity to do. The divine creator gave you the capacity to write your own story. If you can think conceive it in your mind, you can do it. Think about it. The grand creator, this infinite intelligence, this great designer created you. Do you literally think he created you with the capacity to think of something and wish for something you couldn't have? Do you think that the grand designer is that cruel? That he would allow you to have a mind that could come up with all these things and desires and then say no? Now, if you can think it, if it's a part of your psyche, if your imagination can conceive it, you can achieve it. There's nothing that will enter your mind that you cannot do. The only way that you put yourself in a position where you are not able to do something is if that you accept the limitation of impossibility in that area. That's up to you. Nobody else. Fill your day with positive energy. Fill your day with positive and high expectations. Raise your standards. Make it, intensify your desire to lower your tolerance for mediocrity. Lower your tolerance for being average. Lower your tolerance for accepting excuses, first from yourself and then from others. You're going to fail. You're going to get to some points that you don't do what you know you want to do when you want to do it. You know, and this is my thing. You know, there are some things, man, I love going out and trying to meet people. And I've made some promises, some commitments to some people based on where I was going. And I haven't gotten there yet. But I guarantee you, every person that I've made a commitment to, they're still on that list. And as I get to where I was envisioning when I made that commitment, I'm going to meet that. I'm going to honor my word. I will come back at a point when I get there. And I guarantee you, I will meet that. I will meet my word. But the thing is, you can't let delay shake you. Delay does not mean denial. Delay is a part of the process. And one thing that we have a problem with is we don't want to deal with the process. We want the promise associated with our design. We want the promises associated with being a product or of divine design. We want the promises, but we don't want to deal with the process. Here's the situation. There can be no obtainment of the promise without there first being an endurance of the process. Process always precedes promise. If you're not willing to go through the process, you can't have the promise. You can't be exposed to and experience the promise without being willing to go through the process. The process has purpose. Look, I'm going to say this, and I am going to call it a morning. I got a lot of other stuff I got to get done, but I'm going to be back to share some things with you on some social issues we're dealing with. But click the link, become a member of the Power Team, and let's start doing some things together in a group with like-minded people with positive energy. And we can start interrupting your story there. I love you. As I always say, I'm going to die on E. I'm going to accomplish everything that I was sent here to do. What I have that is not accomplished when I leave here, if I haven't completed it, I will die on the battlefield fighting for it. That's the only thing I know how. I am going to go get it. And you can do the same. I love you. I'm out. Peace.